Hello, and welcome back to another episode of Man's Monologues. Today, I'm so excited to have Moon with me. She is a songwriter, and she'll tell you a little bit about who she is, what she does, and basically what she does in the music industry.
My name is Moon. I'm called Moon because that's my pen name, hence the artist name pen name Moon. Actually came from the writing industry. I've been writing since I was 12 years old. I was a published poet at 12. Writing, believe it or not, got me in trouble in school. It was more like put the books down, put the pen down kind of situation with me. It's like escaping to me is like escaping into a whole nother world.
Mhm.
And I've really known as the girl with too many hobbies on platforms. And but how I got into the music industry was during tutoring. I tutor kids internationally and I helped them get funding for colleges. And one of the kids I was tutoring, I had told him he could be anything he wanted to be when he grew up. It's what we all say to children.
Yes.
And he was like, no, I don't think so. And I told him, I made a joke. I said, I could become a rap star if I want to. And I took the instrumental to Gangster's Paradise and wrote my own lyrics to it. And my friend told me you can get it published like you would your other writings, and you can actually distribute it. And it's not that hard. So they told me about a distributor. But I quickly learned that I could not distribute anything with that instrumental unless I had a license.
Yes.
Yeah. So I ended up creating my own instrumental just out of like necessity. I didn't want to pay a producer or anything.
Mhm.
So I took a 3-week crash course and made my own instrumental and then wrote my own lyrics to it. And then once it uploaded on Spotify and had me as a verified artist,
Mhm.
I took that back to the kid and was like, see, and it blew their mind. But through that, I learned that I really like writing songs.
Yeah.
I really do. And you have a better chance of your words getting heard through music than from my experience than a
Right.
writ. Yeah.
You speak of yourself as being the girl with too many hobbies. How did you come up with that name or that a little hook title? And you talk about you've done writing before, you've been in the music industry or while you were tutoring kids. Have you done any other creative endeavors?
A lot. Actually, the music industry it was December 2021 is when I officially entered with my track distributed, my first one. And I've done like 68 since. But a girl with too many hobbies. Okay, so from growing up, I was more of like the bookworm, the
Mhm.
nerdy girl. If something interests me, I learn it, everything, and as much as I can. I believe
Mhm.
learning just stop. And because of that, I'm a medical professional. I'm a nurse. I am a tutor.
Mhm.
I sew, can, and crochet like Little House on the Prairie. I'm a Google developer, a Microsoft developer. I'm an ordained minister. I'm a radio DJ. More of a lyricist is what I say in music
Yes.
industry. But I have stuff out there with my own vocals, every genre.
Mhm.
There's more. I'm a wildlife rehabilitator. I'm an Amazon influencer. I'm a cocoa, oh, not a cocoa bird anymore, but Thermalabs,
Mhm.
tanning. I do work for them. I teach role play. There's more we could be here
Yes.
on.
Yeah, so much. There's a lot. Can you tell me why you chose to delve into all these different creative outlets instead of sticking to one? Or is there more creative freedom for you?
I don't feel like anybody should be constrained to just one thing.
Mhm.
And no matter how old you are or where you're from or anything, you could do anything and everything
Yes.
you want to do. So why limit yourself? And I like learning. And
Mhm.
then in every endeavor that I've done, I've tried to do something positive with it.
Yes.
Like with music, I gained ties to radio stations,
Mhm.
licensing companies, other influencers, a distributor. I made myself an agency account,
Yes.
all this. But other artists, I'm not saying I will make it far in the music
Mhm.
industry. I'm also looking for a vocalist. But other people I've seen like
You've seen
artists
them.
really get preyed on by a lot of scammers. And it really upset me. And so instead of them saying, hey, paying this person $50 to go on a radio station that somebody made from a website free online, and they think these people have listeners, but they don't,
Mhm.
or a website made and they're saying it's a blog, but it's not,
Mhm.
no viewers, no listeners, and they're paying money and getting nowhere.
Mhm.
So I give them all the free resources down
Mhm.
to like contract templates and everything,
Yes.
college, indie, and all that, and free. Like I don't charge them anything at all. If they're
Mhm.
not distributed, I help them do that, get a publisher, get a pro,
Mhm.
because I rather help as many people as possible with each of
Mhm.
my endeavors. like writing. I turned that into something where I could tutor kids or help them with
Yes.
their essay. So free, and because knowledge should be free and shared
Mhm.
freely. So,
No, I completely agree with that. There's so much information you can find these days and so many resources because of the internet. And it's nice that most of these resources are becoming free because you can go on that and you can watch a video, a YouTube video, you can go read an article, and there's so much knowledge that you can acquire
mm,
from just having that curiosity and doing the work yourself. But I love how you've gone into it and say, hey, maybe you need some additional help. Maybe you need someone to show you the ropes. And it's
mhm.
sometimes that you've gone and you've said, hey, I have these services and they're available for anybody, and helping creatives grow, artists. That's the impact you want to have.
And we don't need no starving artists.
No, I love that. So, can you tell me about some of the artists that you work with
Mhm.
or some of the kids you've tutored and how you've seen them display creativity and where it's taken them?
Oh, yes. So a lot of the kids that I've helped, and I also did like scholarship matching and help with their
Mhm.
essays. A lot of them were able to find funding they did not know even existed or that they qualified for here in like America. But once a year, I was sending school supplies, like I collected all through the year, and the
Mhm.
other people would too. And we send one package once a year overseas,
Mhm.
maybe a place that needed those papers and pencils
Mhm.
and stuff, and get help there. I've seen it's internationally, and I would make group chats. So we're
Yeah.
mixing cultures and stuff.
Mhm.
Through that, a lot of them gain understanding or more empathy for people who are not like them, or maybe learn some of each other's language, or we have
Yes.
many cool conversations in those chats.
Mhm.
But in the music industry, I've helped 72 different artists so far. Like one, I'm still helping them today. He's pretty cool, him and his friend. But they're older generation and they're in
Mhm.
Canada. And
Yeah.
it's called the Geriatrics. And I've hooked him up with some radio stations and stuff to help him get some grow their
Exposure.
following. Yeah, get some listeners.
Mhm.
And Lonely Oak Radio loves playing them.
Yes.
Yeah, I've helped Nikolai. I can't pronounce the last part, but he's on Spotify too. He's in Spain. I helped him. And currently there's one I want to say in the Netherlands, this kid that actually from tutoring knew him. He's new in it or whatever, but I was able to find a pro in his country
Yes.
and get all the information from the sign up. He didn't know how to do that. So,
Uh-huh.
but I'm watching people achieve their dreams and their full potential in a lot of things.
Mhm.
That's a blessing.
Wow, that's a wonderful way you do your thing, the way you do your creative endeavors. I want to know, how are you able to connect with these people, for any artists, poets, musicians, whatever your creativity? How can you find these people in your industry?
Oh, I mean, that I've helped or like the different
You were saying that you
resources.
helped a musician find someone in his industry who's
Yeah.
a professional. How would you go about finding someone yourself if you were a musician or if you were a writer or if you were any type of artist?
Oh, okay. Actually, my first group of friends of radio stations, it was on Twitter. I caught their attention because I was making all right. There's a like independent artist community on like every
Yeah.
platform. Okay, and on Twitter, there's a real close knit fan communities. They try to
Mhm.
support each other, do collaborations, help teach each other stuff. And the scammers, that's the platform where the scammers really upset me. Okay.
Yes.
And one of my friends in that group had actually paid somebody to do some promo for them and they didn't know what they were doing and they got scammed.
Yeah.
And I went on like this rampage. I was like, no, we're not going to feed the
Mhm.
promo hustling trolls is what we were calling them. We even made a song for them.
Mhm.
But one of the radio DJs actually in Germany, it's called Dark Tunnel Radio. He thought it was funny and he started sharing my posts too. And then I made a post where I said I wanted to learn how to DJ,
Mhm.
do be a radio DJ. And he
Yeah.
actually hired me to do it and he taught me. So it's pretty cool. But radio stations also have their own communities, come to find out. And so they talk to each other, especially independent radios, the big one. And so the other radio stations were on, and I grew a social media platform relation,
Yeah.
like friendship with these people. And we didn't just talk about music. But then I also joined the International Singer-Songwriters Association and amazing people there. Amazing people. I'm grateful for them. But I've met more through them. There's one, they're pretty cool, but I'm trying to think of the name of it. But the Penguin
Yeah.
Promo Productions. Yeah, I think that's what it is. But one of their DJs is really nice, and he invited me to a chat.
Mhm.
So it's like networking and building
Yes.
friendships with people.
Uh-huh.
And it just so happens mine's all in the music industry right
Yes.
now. And I help people and I do a lot of research.
Mhm.
I like the licensing companies and
Yes.
else. And if I pay for something,
Mhm.
like I did for artistpr.com, I think it
Mhm.
was, they offer you resources as well.
Mhm.
And I keep all that stuff on a Google Drive, and then I
Okay.
share it with somebody who maybe did not know and also let them know about artist PR.
Resources, yes. You say when you're going online and you're networking, there's a lot of scammers. And I found this myself. Like, you don't know who you're texting, and sometimes they just send you a link. They want you to subscribe to their service or go and click this link, pay for something. And it's difficult to filter out those people who are just scamming you. And I find that is a barrier of trying to connect with other people who are doing what you're doing and where you can have an authentic conversation. You can learn from them. The other day, I hired this guy to design a book cover for me, and it was because he was on my podcast and we had a conversation about his art and what he did. But I trusted him so much more than I did with someone on the bar that I've never met before, that I've never talked to. I found that any other gigs that I find online, you're not on the same page because you don't have a conversation and there's that relationship isn't there. So
Mhm.
I'd say building a relationship is key.
And definitely, like in websites and that, if people are saying they're offering you promo or something like that, I understand sometimes people need to pay somebody to do that for
Mhm.
them. Yeah.
Yes.
But you always want to check the traffic of their website
Mhm.
or their following list and check some of those out
Mhm.
just to see if they're fake. Check the history if it's
Yes.
a social media profile. And do know that like Instagram and platforms like that, you can buy followers, which I do not recommend.
Uh-huh.
But you could tell the difference because the activity on the page.
Yes.
And you can ask for references and research, put their business name if it's a business in the,
Mhm.
Google bar.
Yes. Now, with Instagram now and other social media platforms, high follower counts, and you're never know because you're so skeptical. You're like, did this person just find the followers? And checking into the comments and seeing who's commenting it or who's liking it, or even just how much activity there is on the profile. But if it looks sketchy, then stay away from it.
Definitely. And radio stations do not ask you for money for airplay.
Mhm.
That's actually illegal. If they're asking you for money up front and it's a radio station and they're saying all your stuff is good, they're most likely a be fake.
Yes. So, how have you worked with radio stations before? Have you just, I guess, talked to artists and then just network them with the radio station and show them their music, or how does that work for you?
I do check in with radio stations and I would like to support my independent radio stations and my college
Mhm.
stations because a lot of them are not getting any funding. And some of them, if you're with a pro, actually have to come out of pocket to play your music,
Mhm.
but they do it because they support independent artists.
Mhm.
So I always try to show my appreciation to them, thank them every now and then, hang out with them in a chat if they have one on their page for their station, get to know them and
Mhm.
let them know you appreciate them. You can build friendships that way.
Yes.
So one, I even made an app for them, and just and another one, I made a video animation because I do
Mhm.
animation too. It was penguins actually.
Yes.
So I build relationships actually easier with these radio station people
Mhm.
than I have my artists.
Mhm.
Because of that, I'm able to say, "Oh, your music, you want to get heard? Here's some radio stations. I'll give you lists of them." And then, but if not, if you're nervous, I'll submit it. Say,
Mhm.
"Hey, this is
Yeah.
Moon, and here's the EPK for this artist." I'll let them know what an EPK is if they don't. And this is their links. Here's a sample of their music, an
Mhm.
MP3 file, metadata tagged correctly, artist name, track, so it could play well in their system. And if you
Mhm.
give them your information in a
Mhm.
professional way like that, with all the information they're going to need in one email, they're going to be grateful for that,
Yes.
especially the metadata tagging. That one day I just Googled how to properly submit your demo to a station and kind of went from that.
And I'm wondering how many talented creatives that you've seen that haven't had that exposure or have had that audience. Do you find that there's a lot of talent that's just never been seen?
Yes. Yeah, I learned real quickly. And I guess this is why I try to help the music industry the independent artists there and producers and lyricists more than I have any other industry that maybe I dabble in or have experience in, is because I have quickly learned that, unfortunately, a lot of these independent artists, unless they got a lot of money
Mhm,
or some friends in high places, they can't live their dream.
mhm,
And I find that really sad, especially like lyricists like me, for example. To me, I have no vocal. On
mhm,
a good day with a good production, it's passable,
mhm,
but it's my writing.
mhm.
And that really gets me anywhere, but because I don't have the vocals or the money to go hire this person
Yes.
or whatever. But as many that do have that talent, got
Mhm.
the writing, got the production, got the vocals, they got the whole package.
Yes.
But maybe they were just missing that radio station list that was actually authentic, or those licensing companies,
Mhm.
or opportunities to get heard. And
Yes.
I promote ISA. I
Mhm,
do. Then, hey, I did something good and I
mhm.
helped them and they were able to achieve their dream where maybe they could not have before because lack of money or something like
Yes. No, I've always been talking on my podcast about how crucial marketing is, especially for creatives, because there's so much talent out there that never gets heard. And it just irritates me to the nth degree. You've worked so hard on something and nobody sees it, nobody hears it, and it deserves a lot of attention. It's just sad, even with the music industry, to see like the mainstream pop, everyone's the same artist on the top list. It's dominated by major labels, record companies.
that.
And I'm sure it's the same with other artists, especially maybe when it comes to dance, when it comes to fine art, when it comes to other creative books, even. I know selling a book is supposed to be one of the most difficult things you can
Yeah.
just marketing it or getting an audience for it. So, yeah, that's sort of why I created this podcast because I'm like, let's connect, let's help each other.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, but I love what you're saying about this, how they just need the right connection. They need the right people to talk to. And it's a little difficult to find that. Can you tell us about the app you created? I'm just
Well,
curious.
the app, I was sitting in a chat room with for a radio station or whatever, and the website was irritating me. Okay. And I'm like, it would if this was just an app that I could open up
Mhm.
and just
Yeah.
log in via my Facebook, because that was one of the options for
Mhm.
the little box, but it was on one page. And then I was like, I can move their blogs here or this
Mhm.
here. And while I was sitting in that chat room, I had my other device out and I was just putting together this app.
Mhm.
Then got on Facebook Messenger because the me and that DJ were talking back and forth. They actually made me a little promotion video too, which
Yeah.
is really nice. And I was like, well, here, take this. And I said, next time I'm logging into that chat with y'all, I'm gonna come in through this. And they was just like, oh, what you do? When'd you do this? I was like, while we were sitting in chat last night. And I was like, because you would log in, but then the little bar where you would put the text,
Mhm.
it was just, it was all over the place. So you didn't know if your text was going to go here.
Yeah.
No, we got to fix that. Fix.
It needed a little bit of tweaking and
Yeah.
improving
And I
your
was like,
design.
so that not that people could just download this app and go,
Yes. No, I love that. I love how you find a need and then you try to fill it and you're like, this isn't working. Let me use all of my creative knowledge and skills that I have and try and
yeah.
solve the issue. That's wonderful. Can you tell me, you said when you were growing up, you'd always get in trouble for writing. Can you tell me why that was? Because I think as a teacher, you should encourage that.
Yeah, yeah. My teacher said they never had a this one particular teacher said Miss Barr, Meredith Barr,
Mhm.
okay? And actually, it was two of them, but Meredith Barr was the main one. And she taught two of my subjects and all through high school. But she, unfortunately for her, had the language arts writing class. And I love to read. So they would give you these books that was like full of stories supposed to last all year, short
Mhm.
stories, whatever. And you would have assignments for each of them.
Mhm.
I would be done with that whole book literally in the first month of school.
Mhm.
And I passed plus excelled in my graduation test
Yes.
because of that those in that particular subjects.
Mhm.
And so she would say, okay, class, we're gonna open up to this, whatever. And I would go pull out a book
Mhm.
from the library
Yes.
and I would have it reading, or I'd have pen and paper and I was writing poetry
Mhm.
and stories for drama class. That teacher did not like me because of my writing. But and she would tell me, you've got to stop doing this. It was about like the second semester of the first year she had me.
Mhm.
She was like, you really did that whole book? I'm like, yes. And this was already an AP class, so it's not like they could put you in a higher thing. The other students would get upset because I'm back there giggling because this is a comedy scene in the book, or I'm just erasing, getting
Yes.
angry with myself and crumble up paper, rewriting something. And they're like,
Uh-huh.
I mean, by the end of the year and all the second year,
Mhm.
luckily I had her at the lunch period. So it was like 4 blocks, 2 hours. And she would give me a hall pass to just go to the library and say, come back at the end of the class. Because they couldn't slow me down.
Yeah.
And there was nothing else they can give me to do,
Mhm.
you know?
No, I've always resented how the school system discourages people who might be a little bit more advanced and they want to do the work on their own. They want to work at their own pace
Yeah.
because if you're reading more books, and that's wonderful, you should be gaining that knowledge. You should give them more books to read, maybe
Yeah.
more a larger course load. And do
Yeah.
you see that in with some of the kids that you tutor, where you've noticed that maybe you have to give them more work or just tailor it to their needs?
Yeah. And tutoring. I actually tricked some kids.
Mhm.
All right. They were into text-based role play. Okay. Where you have to write out the actions. You got to be detailed. You got to make it make sense. And the other person give them a chance to counterattack or whatever, if it's a battle thing. So I needed to further these children. They all loved writing.
Mhm.
Okay. Actually download an app just so I could be with them while they were role playing and just try to challenge them with my own. And, but the whole reason I did the whole role play thing and built like this community and all these assignments and quests, as I call them, was I was actually challenging their writing as I tricked them into that. But I was proud of them because we
Mhm.
did that for 3 years straight, me and this one huge group of kids.
Mhm.
I watched them grow up. But about the end of that, and towards like graduation, whatever, they kept telling me throughout the years and showed me their grades. I was so proud
Mhm.
after they were rising and they were getting like at that level.
Yes.
But then towards graduation, I'm like, that was the whole reason we even did that role play thing. I was just pushing y'all, but in a way where y'all were having fun and didn't realize what I was doing.
Mhm.
Because if they wrote the post wrong or something like that, they failed. So they were challenging each other and trying to
Mhm.
win these role play battles and they're writing the
Yeah.
details and all the stuff and perfect writing format to win. But really it was, you're doing it right. You're learning how to do it right and you want to
Mhm.
do it right.
And no, that is wonderful. I love that. On that note, I'm going to wrap up this podcast
Okay.
episode. If you'd like to tell us where our audience can find you, if there's any links they can click on, if they can listen to
Yeah.
songs or your social media.
You can find anything and everything about me and all my links at pennamemoon.com. PEN name, NAME, moon, MON.com.
Okay, that's wonderful. Thank you for joining us today. And if you like this podcast, please share it with a friend or family member. And we hope to see you next time.
Thank you. And this has been great.
You. Yes. Bye.